Introduce us.
Introducing Gene Nugent. He adjusts the microphone.
Yeah.
He reaches for his drink.
Oh yeah. Fuck. I'm getting tangled up in this shit.
Cheers, motherfucker.
Cheers, bro. Mmm.
Why'd you mix it like mine then?
I
You
know,
fucking
because
dickhead.
no. I was sitting there pouring and thinking, I should, because when Kate, if we're gonna have a drink on the weekend or whatever, we're gonna have a drink. We actually have a shot glass.
Yeah.
Because we usually drink out of plastic Star Wars cups. Just so you know, I don't even care what people think, because you gave me shit about that as well. But they're like, I don't know, so they're 700 ml. So we usually chuck like a handful of ice in there, and a Pepsi can, which is 375. And then we just used to top it up with booze. And then we bought a shot glass to the limit, because we were going through a bottle real quick, the two of us. And so when I was pouring a drink down, I thought, I should get that shot glass. And I was like, fuck, how much has he put in there? And I'm like, for some reason, I don't know why. I was just like,
I don't know, when I saw you measuring up to mine to do it,
Yeah,
I was like,
I've pushed
he's fucking game.
I've pushed my glass over and gone, yeah, that's about right. Then I picked up and think, fuck, that's a lot, because I'm looking at it down. Ended up being more than I thought, and it's very sweet, very, very strong. Just adjusting your feelings, make it look like it's a bit more professional. But yeah.
Right.
That is a strong drink.
Let's fucking do it.
I feel like it's all too low again now. Fuck it.
Welcome.
About it, so I can just do this.
Fair enough. Welcome to the ETI podcast. We're here with John, Gene, and our good friend Mr. Jack Daniels. I thought today, down visiting my mate, my brother to another mother, and having a few drinks, so fucking why not hit record and talk some shit while we're here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, bro. Oh,
so,
every time I'm going to go, yeah, bro, or someone does a Kiwi thing, I'm just going to think about that food tonight. It was funny, when we were walking down the cafe shop, you're like, oh, there he is, and I said, what's going on? And he's just gone.
because every time I see him I do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we thought that we would talk some shit about people we feel are underrated musicians that maybe don't get enough credit or fucking whatever that they should do, because they may be outshined by someone else in the band, or maybe they just get sort of not talked about as much.
And this is a struggle for me, because I don't know a lot of names.
Well, you can just be like, that dude from that band.
Yeah, I like a lot of music and a lot of bands, but I don't fucking know their names. If that makes sense. But because of what's holding the camera up, the Primus CD, the case for it is sort of evening out everything. And I would actually say like Les Claypool is an extremely... I don't even know if he's underrated, because in the bass player community, I think people know about him.
I think the bass player community is a bit like Lemmy in the sense that people see him as a god.
Yeah, but then everyone else is like Primus. Like a lot of people, I'm like, oh, yeah. You like Primus?
My name is Wendy.
But a lot of the stuff he's bass player, I think he's funky, he can do it, he can do a lot of shit, and just one of those bands, like, I think in the early day he was to record everything in his basement and then just send it to whoever the label was, and they would just mass produce it and then send it out. That's how they've done a lot of their stuff. They didn't have too many people fucking with their music, which is probably a good thing, but it's also, I think, potentially hindered them, because they didn't get forced into writing radio.
I know, they're one of them bands that I never really got into.
Yeah, so well, I've only got one of their albums, to be honest, and I do like some of their other stuff, but I'm not diehard Primus fan, but he is one of those people just no one ever seems to talk about.
So one person that comes to mind for me is Riggs, Rob Zombie's original guitarist. Well, not original as in White Zombie days, but as in solo project Rob Zombie. Riggs doesn't get talked about. I mean, obviously, you read the credits and all that shit, and it says all music written by Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
But is that them saying written by Rob himself, or as the Rob Zombie band, which essentially, no doubt, is just him anyway?
Yeah.
Because, we wouldn't have, well, I imagine we wouldn't have something like fucking Hellbilly Deluxe or your favourite good old Sinister Urge.
Radio play.
Favourite. Without Riggs, because the sound has changed drastically since John Five's taken over guitar duties.
Yeah, and
And not for the better.
Yeah, no, and to touch on what we spoke about previously, Manson was like I thought Manson had more to offer musically.
Yeah.
And sound and experimentation and different shit happening on each album compared to what he has now. But then I also feel like a lot of that's gone, and John Five's in Rob Zombie. Who's playing bass in Rob Zombie? Because he's also
These
got
days, Piggy D.
Okay, he's also got Gingerfish from Marilyn Manson as a drummer,
yep,
so he's got half the fucking Manson band. But
that's because Ozzy Osbourne stole fucking Belasco and all that lot.
Oh, did he?
From Zombie, yeah.
But like even now, like the music still doesn't. It's like Manson was like on the top of the hill when John Five was with him.
Yeah.
And then it's been downhill.
Oh fuck
yeah. And it's like.
The last decent album was Golden Age of Grotesque.
Yeah.
Which was John Five's last album with him.
But then like now that John Five's with Rob Zombie's like the downhill experience that Rob Zombie's had, Manson's had since John Five left. Rob Zombie just continued the downhill experience because it's just not as good.
Well, that's the thing. The early Rob Zombie shit, like I said, was fucking great with Riggs, and I don't know if people want to claim it as fucking Zombie wrote it all himself. I very highly doubt it. But then you look at stuff like Scum of the Earth, which is Riggs' project. I don't know if you've really listened to that much, but it's pretty much, if you didn't know it wasn't Rob Zombie, you would think it's Rob Zombie. Even his singing style and everything else, it's as if that's all the shit that he brought to Zombie and he said, oh no, that's not good enough for my band. He's kept it all and released his own album under the name Scum of the Earth.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I think we were spoken about that ages ago before we even started doing the podcast, just when we were talking shit. And I think we jumped on and had a look. I didn't mind some of the stuff. And you said it's very early Rob Zombie like it is.
It's very Rob Zombie, just more techno-y or whatever you want to call it, like more a fucking, all them effects they put in.
Yeah.
Anyone else pop to mind, mate?
No, I know you've had yours, haven't you? It's on me. As I said, I'm shit with names, like remembering who's who and what.
If you remember the band, I might know the name.
I remember the drummer I spoke about, Derek Roddy. I can't remember the fucking band, Serpent something, I think his band was, like a death metal band of sorts.
Yep.
Just a speed drummer, like insane. He was one of the first people, like there's a lot of speed metalhead drummers out there now, but he was like the first person I saw on YouTube when YouTube sort of hit.
Yeah.
And he was just insanely fast. But outside of that one band, you don't know about him. And the only way drummers might know about him, if you're not into heavy metal, is he was with Sonar Drums, and he used to do like a heap of promo videos.
I remember you always wanted a Sonar kit.
I still do, and now like another drummer from Sonar, Thomas Lank, who was, I think he's an underrated artist. I don't think he gets enough proper work in my opinion. He gets a lot of weird shit albums, people just doing instrumental stuff.
Yeah.
Like he should be in a. He tried out for Dream Theater, dude.
No, okay.
They didn't get through, I think, because the guys are a bit strange in Dream Theater, so they wanted someone else who was a bit strange, and Thomas Lang isn't strange. But outside of drumming, like most people would never have heard of Derek Roddy unless you're into heavy metal.
Yeah.
And now the only other reason drummers would know about him is because he made a huge switch to DW. So he was with one brand for all these years, and then now he's with DW. We had a conversation about that ages ago, and I took the piss out of that.
It sounded
from
familiar.
Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how
Nico
drummers...
McBrain.
Yeah. Like, one brand is the hands down best brand that they've ever had, and they've always wanted it, and they've always respect this brand for the tonal reasons or whatever other bullshit they come up with. But as soon as someone, I don't know, if they get a better deal, more money or whatever, they get paid to endorse instruments, that's now the new brand, and that's the best way to go. And then
that's the thing, if you're getting flashed, say, 5 million in front of you to go, fucking come play our drums, you're going to say that's the best drum.
This Nico dude, he went from saying years and years and years ago that Sonar was like the tits. Then I can't remember, I think he was with Yamaha or Pearl, fuck, I don't know. He was with someone because more money, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then now he's like, no, I've made the switch back to Sonar because of this. I'm like, well, if they're the greatest brand, why did you even leave them? You can go to a music store and buy a drum kit in your own time.
Yeah.
Or play at mates. You don't need to sign an endorsement deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but enough of that.
Alright,
shits me.
we'll move on from that then. What else comes to mind? Right, some people might think of this next one as it's not fucking underrated or whatever, but for me, Jim Root, because I mean a lot of people that I talk to about Slipknot, everyone always mentions Mick Thompson. No one ever mentions Jim Root. It's all about, you know, Mick Thompson's speed, Mick Thompson's fucking give it the old windmill like all fucking day while going. No one ever mentions Jim Root. I think he's a very highly underrated guitarist. Even the shit he done with Stone Sour. I stopped listening to Stone Sour an album or two before he got kicked out of the band.
Yeah.
But even listening to the later Stone Sour stuff now, it's just like, yeah, I can understand why he was so unhappy. Because that earlier stuff was fucking gold. You know what I mean? You're playing with yourself, mate.
No, while you're saying that, I'm like, my desk is really, like I was listening. So I'm like thinking to myself at the same time, my desk is really scratched up on this side, but it wasn't. All these years it still had brand new plastic on it. And that's too satisfying
My fucking interface still got the plastic on it because I don't want to peel it off.
It's too satisfying to like...
I only peeled the plastic off the camera because I do to see the fucking screen.
Yeah. You get rid of this fucking shit.
So who else are you thinking of, mate? Or you got some opinions on old mate Mr. James Root?
No, I think if anything, coming from someone who's not a guitarist, he's the one that gets all the attention. I scroll through YouTube more than any other social medias out there, just because that's fucking got the best content on at the moment. And everything should know. If it's about drums, it's about Jay Weinberg because he's the new drum kit drummer.
Yep.
But then I don't see too much about the new bass player.
Old V man.
But that could also just because people still hang up on Paul, which is cool.
Well, but yeah.
The other thing I was going to say is I barely see or hear anything about or from Mick.
Yep.
Unless it's like they've both been in a guitar magazine. That's it.
Well, I have seen a big emergence of Jim in recent years.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I think he's a lot more involved with social media shit than Mick is. But like I said, when I talk to other people about Slipknot or whatever, especially don't come from the guitar side of things, everyone's always hung up on Mick. So that's why I'd say Jim Root's underrated. But like I said, people are going to have a different opinion, call me a fucking idiot. Go, everyone fucking talks about Jim. Jimmy.
You're a fucking idiot.
Fucking idiot. I'm talking about Jim.
But yeah, no, for me, I see more, and I've always probably actually over the years noticed more from him than I have anything from Mick.
Yeah.
Just over the years.
Fair enough.
I was looking at him through the glass.
Don't know how much time it's been.
I think that's the last Stones album I bought. So I've got their first two albums.
Yeah.
And I just didn't bother with the rest of them. And I think that was a smart decision.
Audio Secrecy was a good album. It took a few listens to get used to, but once you get used to it, it is a good album. On first listen, I was like, what is this radio-friendly bullshit?
There's one song I don't mind from a couple of tracks. I couldn't even tell you what the name of the song is, and I couldn't even tell you what the album is, but I know they weren't on their first two albums.
There you go.
Do play it, and I'll find it.
Yeah, I was going
Would have to like listen to their...
You're going to test how good my memory was if you're like, oh yeah, it's off Audio Secrecy, it's track number, whatever.
Yeah, I would never fucking clue, man. I hear it every now and then. I'm like, oh, I like that song. It's Stone Sour, but I don't know the name of it.
Yeah.
And I can't even think of how it goes. It's only when I hear it. I don't go looking for it.
Cool.
Underrated.
We're going to have a drinks break in a minute, mate.
Yeah, we
You're a
will.
bit fucking slow with your mix there.
It's like fucking 4 drinks in one. You're spastic.
Yeah, anyone else pop to mind for you?
Everyone's gonna hate it, but
That bloke from that band who I can't remember.
no, I'm just debating with myself whether or not I should say the name, because the band isn't, to be honest, anything fancy. They've accomplished a lot more than other bands have, but a lot of bands hate it. It's not Nickelback. But your mate has a big issue with them. And I just don't know if it's...
Which mate?
Your best mate.
Your best mate? Fuck, I'm making a lot of mates lately.
No, so I was gonna... I'll say it, but I'm not going to say. John Otto from Limp Bizkit. I think as a drummer, he hits like all the music qualities that he needs to.
Yeah.
And some of the shit feels like he's holding back. considering he's got such a massive kit that he plays such relatively basic things on the drums there.
Well,
for his music, considering he's got Wes Borland as a guitarist.
I was going to say, while you're on the subject of getting held back in Limp Bizkit, Wes Borland, he's getting held back in Limp Bizkit big time.
But he also tried to go solo with Big Dumb Face, and that turned out to just be a big dumb face. That was
when you name it like that, how the fuck's anyone meant to take it seriously?
Did you see their first film clip? They were dressed in like onesies or some shit.
Yeah, all the different.
But yeah, just back on the drums, like he's been with the same brand and used the same hardware like his entire career, as a drummer. I just feel like he's just been held back. I think he could do some damage behind the keys if they unleash him. But I think Fred Durst, I don't know who knows the politics of that band, but Wes Borland's actually been interviewed saying, well, we've got an album written, but we can't release it because Fred's not happy with it. So
I'm pretty sure he's also said he thinks Fred's a fuckwit, but for the money, it's keeping him around.
Yeah, it could have.
I could be wrong. Don't fucking quote me.
Who knows what reasons and what? But I think he's one of those drummers. He could do a lot more, but he just hasn't got the chance to do that.
Yeah. Alright.
Every time you fucking do something, I always think your chest's going to explode or something.
Yeah, no, I've got to get it fixed. Probably get it broken and fucking fun times. What am I good?
Good times.
So, someone else comes to mind. Probably another controversial one in a way because a lot of people probably be like, dickhead, he's well known. He's well known, but not as much as his brother. That would be Malcolm Young from AC/DC. I always hear everyone giving Angus praise, which don't get me wrong, when I was a young bloke, Angus Young was the man.
Did he pass away recently?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. I didn't want to say it confidently into the microphone without thinking I was the wrong person.
Rest in peace, Malcolm Young. But, it was one of them things where a band like that, the focus is on the lead guitarist and the singer. So
the only reason
Bon Scott and Angus Young, and then Brian Johnson and Angus Young.
The only reason he had focus on him is because he jumped around on stage playing guitar like an idiot.
Yeah.
I couldn't tire watching him fucking do that hop, skip, fucking toe kick and shit.
It is entertaining.
It's not. Do you know what? Like I do like AC/DC, but like most people, I know their hits. I don't know a lot of the old shit that you know. But what really pissed me off is we went to that Highway to Hell, where they had all the different trucks with a band on each truck come through.
I missed that. I was meant to go to that.
Yeah,
then it'd been and gone by the time I actually realised.
We went to it with her family or her brother, I think it was, and he didn't even hang around.
Yeah.
Him and his missus fucked off.
You done a Mitchum on you.
Yeah, he mitched us.
Cheers,
and he literally mitched us because we trained it to like Freo Station or just before Freo, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'll come get yous. And then so he drove us into where we were on Canning Highway, and then he fucked off. So okay, and it took us an hour to get an Uber home. It fucking sucked.
Just real quick though, we do love you, Mitchum.
Well, we kind of do.
But you're not going to fucking ever leave that one down, mate. There's a few more drinks owed by you. And
I was going to say,
that one.
Every time you see us and we're in a gig together, it's 2 Jack Daniels. Fucking no, it's 4 Jack Daniels and shot a fireball.
If guys involved, we'll be.
If guys there, yeah. But just back on AC/DC, this is one reason I want to get back on the drums, is when they're going to do it again apparently, the Canning Highway to Hell.
Yeah.
Every truck has a different band playing AC/DC songs, and they've all put their own little swing on it, kind of. But what they lacked was accurate. Like, yeah, every cover band can do their own thing, but they lacked a cover band who was playing it like note for note and in time and all that sort of shit, and not trying to do their own. Like, stop trying to get noticed and just honour a band.
Yeah.
Like that's what I wanted. I wanted one. When I found out it was like 8 trucks or whatever it was, I'm like, we're going to get a good band. We had some good interpretations, but we didn't have one solid band. One band, the dude was like reading the lyrics as they're going. He prepared that morning, and he was probably still preparing. Like, he didn't know what was going on. I won't say anything else because I've got other opinions about that band. What'd you do?
Need some fucking drink holders.
No,
drink coasters.
No, you slide it on. But the one reason I want to do that is because I don't know how these bands get selected, but I reckon it'd be cool to actually be in a position where you can put in like an application or I don't know if they had to like audition for it.
Maybe just send in a demo tape or some shit.
Maybe.
Yep, you're the one.
But to be the band like that's actually playing it like note for note and not fucking around and not trying to be too emo about it or whatever they're trying to do. Like,
is there a lot of older boys there? Or
No. Well, in terms of the crowd.
In terms of bands?
No, it was mostly...
There's a few decent AC/DC tribute bands around the place.
Yeah, but they weren't going to line up for this because it probably paid nothing.
Probably not, but I mean, I'm thinking people like Hell's Bells. I don't know if
They
you've seen
definitely
them.
weren't there.
Actually, Riff Raff have just reformed recently too.
No, that shit was there. There was an old band that started, like, you know, the whole it's a long way to the shop if you want a sausage roll. They had a giant sausage roll on the fucking truck, like paper mache or whatever, but it was made. So they had that going, and it was all...
Jane down, fuck mate, you make me hungry.
Well, yeah, because everything was fucking bogged down with people. There was a massive crowd, but I was let down by the quality of the music.
Yeah.
It's all good. There was one, I think they were a Finnish band, and they put like ukuleles and shit or wherever they had their little instruments and all their local hometown type shit.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a typical rock band, and that was good. Because that was new. That was how AC/DC would have sounded if they were from Finland. But all the other bands, like, yeah, cool, you got modern instruments, but why don't you just play it how it's supposed to be played?
Did you ever see, I don't even know what they're called, but there was some random European band, they'd found a box of AC/DC vinyls, I don't know if like fallen off the back of a truck or whatever, but then they played it through their fucking thing where you have to wind it to make it play.
Yeah, hand crank thing.
And then they then learnt the songs themselves to what speed they thought the song should be at. I need to look it up and I'll show you later on.
They didn't crank it and the song ended up sounding fucked up.
If it was like a fast song but they've only went do 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 do, then they've learnt it that way. I'll find it after this. I'll find it and show you because I can't fucking remember their names.
Jeez.
But another good one for the Akadaka was that bagpipe bloke, the Mad Piper, I think his name was.
I haven't heard about that, yeah.
I think he ended up on one of them Australian Idols or fucking Got Talent or some shit like that.
Australian Idol.
But we're getting off the subject.
Australian Idol, sing a song for us.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Well, then it must have been Talent, or Australia Got Talent, whatever.
Yeah, but no, I think like that'd be one thing that I'd be like keen to do. Would be to do that sort of thing. But anyway.
Give me a good excuse to finally buy my SG.
Give me a good excuse to buy a drum kit. Yeah, man. Anyway. Underrated.
Next musician on the list.
Ryan from Mudvayne. Another current band, not an old band, but a dude can do some serious damage on that bass. And if you actually listen to the bass on LD50 and all the other albums,
anything they've done really,
he's fucking insane. And when Mudvayne split, the drummer and Ryan, the bass player, got fucking...
Drummer's very underrated too, which I think we fucking mentioned on a previous episode.
Yeah. But we mentioned Ryan as well, but at the same time, like he it's like being in Australia, we don't hear about what people do outside, but they might be in just a couple of local bands around their cities or their states.
Not like poor David, who when Korn split,
had nothing
in that band.
Yeah, well,
with his fucking mates from his kid's local school, by the look of things.
We don't talk about that band, but Ryan actually jumped on Korn to put those together. Did you see about that? There was a thing.
I saw he was filling in from.
Yeah, someone in his family had to go to hospital. Was it Kid Beamer or something?
Yeah, because there was Ryan filled in from one stage. Rob Trujillo's son filled in from one stage.
Oh, yeah, talk about that. That was just like a fucking stunt to get some publicity. But when Ryan played in there, he fucking nailed it. Danced around on stage, doing his thing as he does, shirtless.
He's always an awesome fucking bass player.
Burt danging.
Burt danging all the way down,
that
down
10
home.
hours of Burt
I'm going Burt dang all the way home. Fuck, I need another drink, mate.
He could Burt dang a speedboat
on. Someone that pops into my mind though is it's not really only the guitarists themselves that I feel is underrated, but the band themselves. And I'm judging this on pretty much when I started listening to this band. Our mate Ben. He originally showed me him, and then my other mate Bickley was a big fan of him. But apart from that, there weren't many people around that really were listening to him or trying to play footsies with me under the table there.
Fuck
mate.
off, I'm sitting here.
Fuck, I'm not that drunk yet. But I don't know if maybe it was just the crowd I was hanging with or anything like that, but for me it felt like the whole band was underrated. But particular bloke, Rob Arnold from Chimera. I don't know if you've heard much Chimera.
You've spoken to me about it, I've never...
We've got to do a thing is fucking that a while back I mentioned about we should really do like I give you a CD and you give me a CD and we take it back and listen to it and then we come back together.
You did give me a CD.
Well,
we didn't give me CDs to listen to. I'm just saying, like, we've done it, kind of. Like I've been bashing Nucleus like for 2 weeks now. They've only got
Nucleus are a fucking sick band.
And so I haven't listened to the older albums. It's just the one is it an EP that dropped last year?
Yeah, Ocean.
I
Am Ocean.
I Am Ocean. Yeah, I've just had those 4 or 5 tracks, just cranking, and it's actually a good fucking.
It is a really good fucking.
Kudos to those chaps because I think they. Okay, if we're going to talk about underrated bands, they're one of them.
They are.
They are fucking A. But anyway, back to
all this COVID shit kind of fucked up everyone's plans.
It did, didn't it?
But yes, what are we looking at?
Oh, I was just around the room. Something. I think that sensor up there flicks red every now and then. It caught my eye. I'm a very observant individual.
Walk on by, you caught my eye. Yeah, fucking Chimera. Like I said, I don't know if it's just that the people I was listening to metal with at the time didn't really know of Chimera or whatever, or maybe they're just not as big in Australia as they are in the States. But Rob Arnold, their guitarist, I mean, him and Mark Hunter, the vocalist, wrote a lot of songs from what I understand.
Mm.
Then Matt DeBreeze, or how the fuck you pronounce it? Matt DeBreeze, possibly. He wrote some shit too.
We don't have enough diversity here in Australia to be able to pronounce names.
Well, that's the thing, like,
no one's moving here.
Billy or Johnny or fucking Tommy. But no, so Rob, he writes some good shit. Even the stuff I've seen after he left Chimera, he's started his own project called The Elite, and even some of that music, it's fucking good tunes. But I always felt like they didn't get the recognition they deserved, and especially Rob as a guitarist. Like, I'd always been a guitarist myself, always looking at shit. People's like top 10 guitarists or top whatever guitarist. Mention the bloke. He's a fucking great guitarist. Highly influenced by Kirk Hammett of Metallica.
Yeah.
But he's doing his own thing with Chimera, and he's a fucking. You have to check it out. Like, you might turn around and go, this is shit house. But at least like things like you just mentioned Nucleus. Like, I was like, listen to these guys.
Yeah.
I fucking liked it.
I think.
Check out some Nucleus.
We've seen them twice. Like.
Well, that's the reason you found it, because I was like, I'm going to see my mate Jaden's band. You got to fucking come. Let's go make a night of it.
I met Jaden before I saw him because we were at Hellhole, here at that. Do you remember? And
the double shots night where I got maggot as fuck.
So
and they shut down the venue in between bands because the smoke alarms went off.
Yeah, the fire's rocked up.
All right, quick fucking
story time.
Welcome to story time. So, me and Jane went to Hellhole to watch a few bands.
Just put something out. This is our first gig we'd been to.
Together a long fucking time.
Because I think I'd been to the Eastern States and back since, and moved back in 2012, and we really didn't catch up for fucking till when? 2000.
It was a long time. I think we caught up because I ran into to Kate and your old girl in the Midland Gate.
Yeah.
And at that stage, I hadn't met Kate.
Yeah.
But
she hadn't met you either.
Yeah, and she still regrets meeting me to this day.
She still wishes she hadn't met you.
But I still love you, Kate. But yeah, so we ended up at this gig, and I was like, look, I'm coming down, because we live an hour and 15 minutes away from each other.
Yeah.
Which is why during that whole pandemic shit, we couldn't really get to each other through these podcasts.
We had to do a Zoom and that sucked.
Yes, the Zoom was a bit of a failure.
Turns out, like Google and every other company has video conferencing. It's just Zoom just happens to be the most popular one.
Oh, okay.
So
if fucking stage 2 ever hits, we'll fucking check out some of that. But anyway, so when we're gigging a while, we go to this gig and we get there and we're like, all right, mate, we'll have some jacks. And it brings it out, and it's a fucking cup this big.
Plastic party cup.
This big, like, that fat, yeah, one of these.
150 ml or whatever, 200 ml plastic party cup.
So it's like, fuck it, if we're drinking something so small for that price, give us a double. So we're drinking double jacks all night. First band comes on, because the backstage was like a shed out the back.
The whole venue.
And so we had to keep walking to the other area.
From the street, it was like a house, which was another business, and then at the back there was a shed.
Well, anyone in Perth probably knows the Hellhole. I don't know if it's still going.
A lot of people don't. So there's like a house out the front, which is the business. You walk down like what seems like a driveway.
Actually,
and there's the shed, which is the bar, and then you go outside, and there's a big back shed, which is where the gigs were.
I know why we went. Because I was going to watch Septillion and I said, you need to fucking check out Septillion.
That's right, I picked up the album and the shirt for like $15 or $20 or something.
Well, I did, because you didn't have any change.
No, yeah, so you did, but...
Happy birthday, motherfucker. But yeah, so anyway, we went there and so we're fucking getting fully charged up. And then fucking the first band finishes and old mate Bouncy kicks us all out. I'm going to Gene, what the fuck's the go here? We're not in Balga now, mate. Like, we're not going to go and steal all the shit off stage as these blokes trying to unload. But as it turns out, the smoke machine from the first band set the fucking fire alarm off. So, and here I'm thinking like, fuck, do we really look that dodgy? Like, why is this prick kicking us out? But it turns out, we got shut down because the fire department rocked up.
I remember it now, but I didn't remember it for like a couple of months afterwards. I was like, I didn't remember that.
We got pretty maggot that night, mate.
Yeah, and then that's where I ran into Jaden.
But yeah, that's when I first introduced you to Jaden because he rocked up to do some photography.
Yeah.
And
I don't even know he was a vocalist. You may have told me, but I don't recall it.
Oh, no doubt I told you that night. But like I said, I mean, we're drinking double shot jacks out of a fucking cup this big all night.
By the time you put ice in,
they're going down pretty fucking quick, mate.
By the time you put 2 shots of jacks in there, some ice, you get a splash of Coke.
I remember there being a sausage sizzle too, but I can't even think if we had a sausage sizzle.
I don't think we did, man. Because I remember, I think we Ubered a taxi back home, and I thought it was like I was thinking about doing it. I ordered like a big pizza and chicken kickers. And then we got home, and then all of a sudden there's a knock, and what the fuck's that? It was the pizza man.
Yeah, fucking what's that king size fucking pepperoni?
The
New Yorker with extra cheese. Because I was like, you gotta get extra cheese, and you're like, there's enough cheese on it, dude. I was like, no.
Yeah, extra cheese.
Extra fucking cheese.
Yeah.
But anyway,
messy night.
This is the reason why you don't do a podcast while you fucking have a few drinks, because you get totally off topic of what we're originally talking about.
But the podcast wouldn't be here if we didn't drink, because that was our original idea.
That is true. That is very true. To all the folks at home. And to all the folks at home listening on the radio device, you can't see me looking at the camera right now. But if you could, you'd understand just where I'm coming from. You don't know where I come from, though, eh?
Oh, I don't know where the fuck you come from.
My mum's can. Cheers. We'll catch you later.